Are you intrigued by history and science that have contested explanations? Ever thought, I'm definitely smarter than my friends, but not as smart as the experts? Then join Craig and Dave as they explore the mysteries of who the why the and how the will they actually find the answers? Probably not, but they'll have a good time trying. Welcome to Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece.
Hello, welcome back to Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece. We're here. This is episode 5, 4, 3. It's one of those.
It's a new episode.
It's a new episode. We got a new episode.
We've already lost count.
Yeah, right. I think we haven't done that many. But we threw it.
Actually, this is our sixth one. This is number 6.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we count the holiday one, the Christmas one we did.
Yep.
Yeah, number 6.
Woohoo! We're doing it. But yeah, so we this one comes from the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail.
We draw topics at the end of the episode out of it.
Yep. So and the topic we drew was the pyramids, Egyptian and Mayan pyramids.
Yes.
Which is, I think, is a fun topic.
Yeah.
I think we could probably come back to this one multiple times.
Multiple times, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
It'll always end up reverting back to something over here. And,
Yeah.
But just so he knows, Zahi, we're coming for you.
We're bringing Gates with us.
We're bringing Josh Gates with us. Yeah, exactly. No, Zahi he's no longer the head of antiquity.
Oh, good.
In Egypt. He was. And he
They finally had enough of his shit.
Yeah, they've had enough of him, I think. But now he did just make an announcement that there was a major discovery found at one of the pyramids.
All right.
And they're supposed to announce it at the beginning of the new year.
All right.
He says it'll change a lot of stuff.
All right, so you know what? We may end up doing a follow-up episode based off of that.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
good with that.
But this is a guy for years who turned his nose up at any other theory from any other archaeologist, geologist.
If it wasn't formulated by the official Egyptian state archaeology department, it was false.
It was nonsense to him.
Not even worth considering.
He would get into full-on arguments with people, like on live, like they would do a talk somewhere, and he would get into full-blown arguments with these people because they had a different view,
right?
And they were probably correct.
Yeah,
you know,
'cause they were looking at actual physical evidence, and they had a
Yes.
different interpretation opinion, and to him, it was just wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think when we started this show, one of the first things we talked about was just the arrogance of archaeology.
Yeah,
and the unwillingness to adapt and adjust your thoughts based on new evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a prime example of that.
Big time. And I get that some of it is pride in his home country. I get that. But guess what? Whoever did it, if it wasn't the pharaoh, the people that we think did it, it was still people in that area.
Right.
There was still there's still your ancestors at some point.
Unless it was actually aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
In which case we're all wrong.
We're
it
all
doesn't matter.
wrong, exactly. Yeah. But it's come to the fact that it's some people think that they're a lot older than being built at that time.
Right.
Which is probably true. I think when you see things like the Bent Pyramid and stuff like that, I don't think those were the first tries. I think those were the second tries.
Yeah, probably.
You know, I think because they have those written as they have text of whatever king, whatever dynasty was building that.
Right.
And they're like, okay, this was so-and-so, this is... And I think that those were attempts to reconstruct that
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we fucked up.
Yep.
Start again.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do
Probably.
another one. You know what I mean? And then they figured out, because there's pyramids. It's not just the main three pyramids that we think of.
That's what everyone
There's
knows. There's
tons
hundreds
of them. Yeah.
thousands. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
All over.
Just
all
in the
over
Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah, all over the Middle East. That's the other thing too. And what I find, if you look at the Egyptian dynasties, like the things we think about, Ramses and all these things, everything they built, every temple they built, they were incredible engineers themselves.
Yeah.
In their own right. Whether they built the pyramids or not, we don't know for sure. You know, they could have.
They could have.
They could have.
But you don't start out building perfect giant things.
Exactly.
That's what, like, you didn't be like, our first attempt was 400 feet tall. No.
Exactly.
Wrong.
Exactly. And the other thing is, everything they built, every temple they've built, every shrine, everything that they built was loaded with hieroglyphs.
Yep.
And then you get into the pyramids, which have zero hieroglyphs.
None hieroglyphs.
None. There are some that are markings on stones that they know it was just a marking in a sense that this stone goes here,
Yeah.
Yep. Or the guy who put the stone in place was like, I'm going to chisel my name on the back.
Yeah.
But the hieroglyphs don't match up to they're different.
Yeah.
They're not the same as we see in everything else.
Yeah. It wasn't like IKEA, like, hey, match part B with part C.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
But even the hieroglyphs themselves were written differently from what we see from those dynasties.
Right.
It was a different form of hieroglyph.
Right.
So it was either earlier or later.
It's
but
like Old
most likely-
English and Modern English. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, I could probably read it and decipher it, but it's very different.
But it's very different.
Yeah.
It's enough that we know it's different. We could probably still decipher it, but we know it's different.
Yeah.
And
that's only 200 years difference.
and that
Yeah.
exactly for us. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
imagine thousands of years.
Thousands
of
of
course,
years.
there's going to be differences.
And you look at these, and there's other pyramids that they found in the area that were like dismantled, where some dude's like, I need a couple of stones for my house.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. You know what I mean?
Is anyone looking?
Yeah. So if they've done that over and over again there. But these pyramids, what were they for? There's never been a mummy found in any of them.
Not one.
Not one. Maybe that's the announcement Zahir Hawass is going to make, because he snuck a mummy in there.
He's been bringing it one bone at a time over years.
Like Shawshank Redemption, he's got it in his pocket with a hole in it. He just walks in there and drops it, kicks some dirt on it, and walks away. But that's it. He's like planting it like a cop putting drugs on him, on somebody. He's just going, we found a mummy, but. Because you have the burial chambers, and you go into the burial chambers, it's just perfect room. Perfect. Carved out of granite, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it. Except on the walls, they find there's residue of these chemicals.
Which happen to conduct electricity.
Yeah. Just weird.
Oddly
that they
enough.
do that. Oddly
What a
enough.
coincidence.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. That just happened somehow. Yeah, somebody dumped a bunch of that in here by accident.
Yeah.
And
all over these 30-foot tall ceilings and walls.
Yeah. And if you look, and they say, okay, well, we got this vertical shaft that goes out looking up towards the sky or whatever, and it's like, okay, what was that the fill port?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, was that the fill nozzle?
If you've ever filled a gas tank, guess what?
Guess what?
Angled nozzle
Yeah.
with a vent on the backside.
With a vent on the backside.
Guess what? Guess how the pyramid's designed?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's simple physics.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
And even that, and the construction of the rooms, the stones that they do, the size of the rooms, they know when you walk in there and you make a noise, it resonates back at a certain frequency.
Yep.
Which is important apparently to all these things. Frequencies are obviously very important, and you think maybe that's how. Even people think that's how they moved some of the larger stones.
Probably.
It was just a technology that they used that, who knows, vibrated, made it lighter or whatever. Who knows?
Very well could have.
But think about a gyroscope. When you spin a gyroscope and you move it and it just stays and and it gets easy to move. But
Right.
But if you turn it, it kind of pulls that way and pulls that way.
Yep.
They could have been doing something to vibrate these stones where when we push it, it just goes whoop.
Yeah.
You know?
Made it easy.
Made it easy.
Yeah.
But it would, I mean, that's something totally out of the realm of
that
what
is
I would know.
beyond what I know too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's these. The pyramids are something that I marvel at, like most people do.
Yeah.
And in my brain, I can't fathom what it could have been used for. Like growing up as a kid, I was told they were big. They were just tombs for the pharaohs.
Tombs for the pharaohs, but yet none of the pharaohs are found in any of them.
Right. They're all buried out in the desert, hundreds of miles away.
Yeah. And the
All in the
Valley
same
of
spot.
Valley of the Kings.
They're all put in the same spot.
Yeah. It's like
So they were
what's
used for
yeah.
something else.
Yep.
What it was, I don't know. But you mentioned like sound frequency. You look at some of the ancient temples around the world in like India and things. They all were built with acoustic properties.
Yes.
There are temples. I think it's one of the topics we'll get to eventually.
Yep.
There are temples in India where if you knock on the pillars, they make certain sound frequencies.
Yep.
In the rooms, they would, and if you look at how they're designed, they look like sound waves.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's wild.
So the pyramids, I believe, and I don't have evidence basis. Like there's something more to them. They were designed with a different purpose.
Designed with a different purpose.
Yeah.
I agree. And they were like even the capping stones.
Yeah.
Now, we know they were whitewashed.
Yeah, they were
know,
limestone.
they were
They had a
bright.
limestone skin, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had the capstones were usually like either a granite or some of them were had gold. Mm-hmm. You know, which was easily they were like, we're gonna take that.
Yeah.
After, somebody's like, I'm gonna take that gold.
For historical purposes.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, these there was a group of scientists that went there and did some like ground penetrating radar
Yep.
tests. Now, whether it's still yet to be proven whether these guys are right or wrong, but it's looking pretty good.
Like there's some large, deep structures beneath them.
Beneath it, like there's these large columns underneath.
Yeah, with these spiral like hallways almost that go around them
Yep.
down miles.
Yeah, and they say, and the funny thing is they have found around the pyramids copper tubing, like wire and stuff.
What do we use copper for? Fresh water. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like the
Moving electrical currents
and we know that
efficiently.
underneath there is a aquifer underneath the pyramids. So you have these rods going into the ground, into this aquifer. They vibrate. It generates electricity, and if you put those certain chemicals, like I think it was like acid and something else.
Yeah,
I
they're
forgot.
like acids and alkalids. There's certain things going on inside.
Basically like a battery.
Yeah.
And you fill that room with it, and it resonates enough, and you would get that resonation like from the water rushing past these things.
It'll create light.
It'll create light, and who knows? You don't have to say like, oh, okay, so what? They were powering light bulbs? No, maybe they weren't, but maybe the one guy who had the idea to do it was like, I'm God.
Yeah, right.
Look at this.
Yeah,
I
check-
did that.
He just knocks on the side of the pyramid, like boom.
And light comes on, and people would be like, "Oh my God, I will do whatever this guy says."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Because right now, thousands of years later, with all of our technology, we don't know.
we don't. Yeah,
If someone did that, I'd be like,
yeah.
holy yeah, like that's wild to me.
That's So who knows if that's and apparently down there, there's also like a big chamber, an empty room that's
Yep.
huge. Too,
Yeah.
they think. But we'll have to see eventually if they ever let them dig
Release that information
or,
to dig,
or release that information. The same thing with the Sphinx. They know there's chambers underneath it, and they're like, they know they're there.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we can't do it. We can't dig in there. And you're like, why?
We don't ask questions. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we dig in there? Because supposedly they think there's a lot of information that's in there that might contradict what they want you to
Which
believe.
is ridiculous. Like, why? Who
Why?
cares?
Yeah. But Egypt isn't the only place that has these,
They were the
things.
most visible because they're not hidden by anything.
and they're gigantic.
right. Yeah.
You know?
You see them from miles away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Or across the entire planet if you're one of those people.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no.
That's a whole two-parter episode. Yeah. But no, like those are the most famous because they're the most visible. But other parts of the world, we get into South America, there's other bigger pyramids.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
wider bases, taller. They were just swallowed up by the jungle.
The jungle is just surrounding people like, oh, look at that massive hill over there.
Yeah, it turns out like, oh no, it's a 300-foot.
It's just
pyramid.
covered in roots and dirt
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I went to Tulum, which is in Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Yep.
So I went to the Mayan ruin in Tulum. It was my wife's favorite part of our honeymoon.
Why? Because you left?
Yeah,
She stayed on the ship?
yeah. No, she was so mad. She was like, it was like 106. She's like,
Oh.
this is ridiculous. We're just staring at rocks. And I was like, they're not rocks.
Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I loved it. But the cool
But that
thing
rock
is,
looks like a snake.
yeah, and the cool, and even that, like we went, and it's cool because you have the stairway, and the stairway in the front. The tour guide was like, all right, he's like, if you stand in the front, so he has us all stand there, and he goes clap, and everybody like one clap.
Yeah.
He goes do one clap, and it freaking reverberated like the echo was insane
Really?
off of the front of the pyramid.
No kid.
And he goes, and that's how they would climb to the top and talk to the people, and it would just echo, like not echo, but
So they wouldn't have to yell.
yeah, and everybody
crazy.
could hear it. But then he said at the top,
How do they know to build that?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
How do you know that? And then at certain times of the day, there's the stairs, the snake at the bottom of the stairs.
The shadows
The
from the sun.
shadows of it make it look like you can see the shadow
Yeah.
on the ground and stuff. It was really cool. But then there was a hole at the top, like there was like a stone room,
Yep.
and it had a thing, and there was a hole. And he said, I don't know if it's the winter solstice or whatever, but or the equinox or whatever it was, but he said at a certain time, the sun appears directly through that circle.
It's crazy.
But he said, what better way if you were like a high priest
To prove your
to prove your
godly
godliness, than to say, he said they would stand there and they would say like, oh, they knew exactly when it was going to happen.
Yep.
And they could say something and it would be like they summoned the sun through this hole. And the people would just be in awe because they were just like, I was just over there
Right.
picking coconuts. I don't know anything, you know? Like, I'm just a coconut guy, you know? So,
I want to see that movie.
yeah.
The Mayan coconut guy.
Coconut guy. But and we know they had calendars, you know, like the Mayan calendar, that accurate like crazy, and everybody, you know, that was when everybody's like 2012, we're all gonna die, because it ends.
No.
It just ends and starts over again.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, but
But what does the news cycle mean?
Yeah,
It just-
nothing. Just means
Because
like,
you got to wait 10, 12,000 years for it to end.
yeah, exactly. And what they found was in 2012. So our planet moves up and down
Yeah.
as we go around the galaxy,
Yeah.
right? We slowly just go up and down like a wave, like, you know. And on that date, December 21st, 2012,
Yeah.
we were in perfect alignment with the center of the galaxy. We were perfectly in the center of the arm of the galaxy. How did they know that?
And then, not only how did they know that, but how do they get everything else aligned? And
Yes.
dude.
But on that calendar were eclipses,
Yep.
solar and lunar eclipses.
Yeah.
All marked. They just knew, these people knew the stars. And we've talked about that before. When you have nothing else to do during, you know, you're
Right.
just sitting there and you're like, hey, look at that. That's not in the same spot as it was yesterday. Why? And then you keep following it and you're like, hey, wait, it's back where it was.
Right. It all started
What's-
because the coconut guy's son to keep bothering him. He's like, go fucking out back and count stars.
Yeah, go count stars.
Leave me alone. I'm trying to work.
Yeah,
And that kid was
exactly.
like, hey.
Yep, exactly. And then he became the high priest.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. But from rags to riches. No.
That's it. The Mayan coconut guy story.
From thatch to riches. But
Like, not just, I get you didn't have anything else to do, but how do you know that and plot all those things? Like, that's,
And plot it
that
out.
blows my mind.
It's-
And then to create that temple, the pyramid, with stairs to walk up, create it so it's also a megaphone
yes.
and has a hole that perfectly ends up with where the sun's going to be on its exact time and date.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
How did you do that? How did you figure it out? And granted, they were probably like, oh, when the sun lines up through that hole, we're going to kill this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one will stop
No
us.
one will stop us. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, you have to.
I mean, it was the greatest hustle ever. Like,
yeah.
They didn't do anything magic.
Yeah. Like, you have to kill that guy. Like, you know?
Yeah. But to think about it logically, to figure all that out is going to take time.
Yeah.
A long time and a
long
lot of like
time.
like devotion. So to me, like that just further supports that these civilizations have been around way longer than we ever thought.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. Like, you say writing. Like, they didn't have much of a writing system. They must have.
Of course they did.
Because how do you keep track of that stuff without keeping some sort of notes?
Right.
Or some
You're not
sort
going
of
to quickly chisel things on a stone tablet.
Yeah.
You write it on papyrus or paper,
Papyrus,
whatever it
whatever.
was, and that's going to disappear.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
going to disappear.
And then you get your calculations, or you think like they know, like, so you think about like the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah.
Right? Pythagoras came up with this math. He didn't come up with the math.
He just documented it better.
He just documented it better and said, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
You know, and these people knew that.
Yeah. This guy wrote it down for me on a coconut once.
Yeah, exactly. These people knew this advanced math well before Pythagoras.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, you know. So it's incredible.
That's what
amazing
I mean is the fact that they're like, oh, these pyramids date to this time. Yeah, that's when they were built. But how long before that were they perfecting those skills and that technology? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, all right, that was their best effort. There was
Yep.
a lot of oopses before then.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so
Yeah.
that to me is like, oh, it's 2,000 years old. That one is.
That one is
The build up to get there, probably a few more thousand years. At
probably
least.
a few more thousand. Yeah.
At least that we know of.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like
In this turn of our civilization, because I guarantee there's been mass extinctions that wiped out most of
yeah.
the stuff before. You know, if you look at, I don't know how much we'll get into these in future episodes, but there are structures 200 feet below like sea level
yeah.
that were constructed, had to be when sea levels were way lower,
Way
which
lower.
was during ice ages,
During
which was
yep.
thousands of years before this.
Yeah.
And again, those are their best efforts.
Yes.
So they have been doing it for thousands of years before
to that point.
Yeah.
To that point. Especially if you have say you're building a civilization and then you're like, hey, it's getting cold over here.
Yeah.
You know, like what's going on? Things aren't growing. We got to move.
Yep.
So you would abandon that city and you would move on and you would go somewhere else and you would start over.
Right.
You
and
know?
you bring that knowledge with you.
And to start building a new city or building a new structure, you're not going to have, not everybody that goes is going to make it on the journey to get to a
Right.
place to find. So you got just a few people that might know a few things and they got to basically almost start over.
Yep.
Just because I can drive a car doesn't mean I can build one.
Right. I couldn't.
You know, so you get these people that were like, all right, we know that we had these cool buildings. We're gonna do it, but we're gonna figure this out again. You know, because the guy that did it died on the way down here.
Right.
You know, the guy who knew all the stuff, and you know, so you might have his apprentice that was like, I kind of know some of it.
I know how to get started.
Yeah,
Or-
I know.
Yeah.
You know, we'll figure it out from here, and they just did it again. And if you think about, like I said before, with the Ice Age thing, when the ice sheets and glaciers made their way across the upper portions of North America and Northern
Wiped
Europe,
out whatever in its way.
it ground stone to pebbles.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? So
Who knows what's in there?
So who knows what's in there? It would just erase that city to never be seen again. It would just be rubble.
Because it wouldn't it doesn't just cover it, it just destroys it.
Destroys it. It's gouged out canyons.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not going to be the same thing, you know?
No. So that's why I think there's way more to these pyramids. I think the Egyptian pyramids are hiding more things
Yes.
as to why they were built. I think the South American pyramids seem to have more of a purpose.
Yes.
Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? But it's the same basic technology to construct them.
Yes.
Like you need the same knowledge. It's just wild to me that all these cultures across the globe, supposedly that didn't interact with each other, all decided to build the same types
The
of
same type.
structures.
I mean, I get the fact that it's probably the most stable because you'd be like, if we want to build high, we have to start wide.
Sure.
You know?
I get that too. But at the same time, it's like, how did they all figure out the right angles at the same time?
And why were they like, you know what? You know what we really need right now? Instead of getting food and doing all this stuff, we need a 500-foot tall pile of rocks.
But we're gonna need it in 30 years, so let's
Yeah,
start building it
let's
now.
start building it now, and it needs to be perfect. Like, you know, like what?
Put down your coconuts. We got rocks to move.
We got rocks to move. Yeah, you know, it's crazy, but they did these things, and you find I think things are a lot older.
We talked about this with our second episode. If they had time to make these things and with all these resources, forget about how they did it.
Yeah,
To make time to just decide to do it, they had the ability, they had the time, which means they were a well-established civilization that could feed themselves,
Yes.
carry on, and they had the ability and time to build these structures.
yeah,
Which to me, like you just said, just suggests that it's been around way longer than what we're being told.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't go for like you said, you know, you don't just start off building this giant thing. You start from smaller things. But then they realize when we do want to build something big like this, all of these people over here, they're not going to be gathering food, farming, or making food.
Right.
They're going to be just working on this.
Yep.
This group of people over here is going to be supporting them
Yeah.
by making food, beer,
Yep.
and bread and stuff for them to eat and providing all
Yeah.
that stuff. And tools, making tools. You had guys that just made tools.
Right, because if
because-
they're chiseling all these rocks, they're going to wear out.
Fast.
Yeah.
So you have this set up system of people, but we're talking so long ago that they don't want, when we talk about Göbekli Tepe, they had to have the same structure in place
Yeah.
to do that. So you're talking 12,000 years ago.
Yeah. For that one
One spot. And it's crazy. It's just
No.
I don't
Again,
believe anything.
It's the arrogance of archaeology.
Yes, exactly. You
Just
come up
to not be open with it.
Yeah.
Josh Gates understands.
He does.
He's out there looking for answers.
He is, and he's finding them, and he knows everything.
Yeah, the answers, Josh. They're in East Providence.
They're
Come
in-
sit down with us.
Yeah, exactly. But
We could do. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, but it's just I find it really cool. Like I talked about this the other night, and I should have mentioned it during the Göbekli Tepe episode. Was the fact that in 2023, there in Africa they found this this structure, and it's basically like the foundation of a wood hut.
Yep.
Right? And they noticed the wood is notched for it to fit together
Yep.
into this solid base structure. It's 500,000 years old.
Oh my God.
It's
All right, so
it's
that's half a million.
years ago. To a point where humans, we weren't even supposed to be here
All right.
yet. It was Neanderthal and whatever else.
All right,
was
so
running around
you
at
had
that
multiple pieces of notched wood to fit together that sit on a base.
Yes.
That's a machine.
time. Yeah.
That's a machine.
That's-
It's got moving, working parts.
And yeah, or even if you were building, just the fact that maybe it was like a log cabin, the base of a log cabin, you know. But they were using tools and engineering at a time when they were supposed to just be not
Monkeys.
dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's figuring out how to be more efficient in surviving.
Yes.
That's incredible.
You know, you go back and you look at cave drawings, like the oldest cave drawings. Some of them are ridiculous, like 30,000 years old.
Yeah.
Stuff. And they're like, the Neanderthals didn't really do this stuff, you know? And it's like, apparently they did.
Someone did.
Either that or we were already here at that point, you know?
And that seems more likely to me.
Yeah, and I think that's more likely. I think that, you know, modern human has been around a lot longer than 300,000 years or 100, whatever they're saying right
Yeah.
now. I think we lived alongside the
course we did.
Neanderthal and stuff, and we know they did because we know there was inbreeding.
Yeah, it's illogical to think that
You know?
just one species evolved and lived for so
Yeah,
long.
exactly.
There's going to be multiple different versions that were around, and
Yes.
just look at all the different species of like dogs.
Dogs, a gazillion of them.
There's a gazillion of them. How many of them are gone?
Even-
And how many new dogs are there now?
Yeah, even primates in general.
That's what. Yeah,
Gorillas, orangutans, chimpanzees, spider monkeys, they're all primates.
we
They're
lump them all into the same genus.
Yeah.
but then we won't do the same thing with humans.
No, exactly.
It's just again.
And I think that, like I said, I think we're around a lot longer. And once somebody figures something, it doesn't take much to look at to put two logs together. Like, I need this to work, and you're like, why won't it stay together?
Yeah.
You know, like maybe if I just chop this piece out, because all it starts with, if I knock this branch off, it'll fit.
Yeah.
And then you knock the branch off and it fits, and you're like, keeps rolling off. But if I maybe flatten this side and lay it on top of it, it's not going to roll off anymore. It doesn't take that much thought.
Yep.
You know, and then you go from that and you're like, hey, did you see what Glug did over there? Like his logs stopped rolling off each other. You know? And then the idea just passes on, and you got it. And then
they
you
start working together, making things better and
bigger, and it's just been happening way longer than we think it's been happening.
Yep.
And the earth changes. The earth has changed so much. You know, when we find ancient things, it's already underground.
Right.
How deep have we actually excavated to find stuff?
And the odds of picking a spot to excavate and actually finding things are so slim. Like, we have found virtually nothing.
Yeah.
And we've built these grand ideas off of the little pieces of evidence
that we found.
Again, it's illogical and arrogant to think that we know everything based on the little bit that we found.
Exactly. And the population was not as high as it is today, so you wouldn't have these like massive amounts of cities or village, not even cities, but villages,
right?
And gathering places. They would be very sporadic. You would have a group of people that lived in this area, and they just lived there, and there was maybe 1,000 of them, and there wasn't another tribe or group
for hundreds of miles.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they saw each other, like, kill them.
Yeah, as far as they knew, they were the only ones that existed.
Yeah, exactly. And you see it today still in like Brazil.
Yeah.
There are tribes in Brazil that think they're the only people on Earth.
Right.
Yep. And then a helicopter flies over and they start throwing rocks at it because they're like, what the hell is that thing?
It's a Thunderbird.
Yeah. Exactly. But I just think there's a lot more to be found. A lot more to discuss, which I think we will.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with how these pyramids were built.
Yep.
Number one. Two, why they were built.
Yep.
And I love to. I will come back to this topic anytime there's new information or new opinions, whatever. I would love to go that. But for me, it's hard. There's a lot of things that we'll talk about that in my brain I can be like, maybe they were just doing this.
Yep.
These are one of those things. Like I said, the South American Mayan ones look more like temples.
Yes.
The Egyptian pyramids, to me,
yep,
no idea.
And there's pyramids all over the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
China, Russia, they're everywhere.
Yep.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk more about it when Josh Gates stops by.
Exactly. Yeah. He can give us some answers.
Right. So for now, we'll wrap it on the pyramids.
If you have any points you want to make about it, or if there's something we got wrong and you want to tell us, just let us know. Make a comment, send us an email. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Yep.
But comment, rate us. It helps the show.
Yeah, send us the email, cdscipiece@gmail.com. Give us a topic, give us your opinion. We'll make it on the show.
Yep.
But until next time, love you, Josh Gates.
Love you, Josh.
See you, everybody.